Welcome again, dear students. We'll continue practicing MCQs relating to English grammar. In first video which we uploaded yesterday, we talked about English grammar in general, especially what are the parts of speech, and then at length we had a practice of MCQs relating to verbs and its kinds. Hopefully that was useful to you, and today we are going to have practice relating to another important topic, that is what is phrase, what is clause, what are sentences, and what are their types. So let's start. A sentence in English consists of several components, and every component performs a unique function. Here it is, as we talked about it last time. A sentence have got several parts of speech. Then combining those words, we have phrases. Then we have clause, and then we have got a sentence. A sentence expresses a complete thought and can stand alone, whereas a clause contains a subject and a predicate, but may or may not express a complete thought. And a phrase is even shorter than a clause, and a phrase is a group of words that functions as a unit with a sentence but lacks both a subject and a predicate. So sentence is the self stay alone type of words, whereas a clause, there may be several clauses in a sentence, or a sentence may have only one clause, and the phrase is a group of words. It may be 2 words, it may be 3 words, or even more, but they have a meaning, and they play an important role within a sentence. To further distinguish between phrase and clause, because some of the students, they confuse between clause and phrase. So remember, clause is something bigger than phrase. In clause, we have got a subject and a predicate, meaning why it has got some subject plus some verb. And the examples are given here also. He must stop laughing. He is a pronoun. Stop is a verb. So in the clause has got a subject as well as a verb or a predicate. There's another example. They have done the job. It is in this particular case, it is both a clause as well as a sentence. And the third one is Tom likes the meat. It is a clause as well as a sentence. A basic requirement for a sentence or a clause is that there should be a subject with a verb or a predicate. Whereas a phrase contains some of words, a small group of words that adds meaning to a sentence, but it may not have a subject or a verb. And the examples are given here. the information age. This is a noun phrase. We'll discuss it as we proceed further. There are three types of these phrases: a noun phrase, adjective phrase, and adverb phrase. In the coming slide, you will have practice of these different types of phrases. But suffice here to say that it is a small group of words. For instance, the information age. Earnest in her desire, much too quickly. Or you might have heard an apple of an eye or a lion's share. These are phrases. Now, with the practice of MCQs, these concepts are the difference between phrase, clause, and sentence would further be clarified. First MCQ is which of the following is not a phrase? After the match, beneath the surface, if you come early at the crack of the dawn. The answer is if you come early. Why it is not a phrase? The reason is it contains a subject. What is that subject? You. And it contains a verb also. What is that? It is come. Since it has got a subject, it has got a verb, so it is not a phrase. It is a clause. All other three do not have a verb. Then which of the following is not a clause? Again, because I was tired while she was singing, in the middle of the road, as soon as they arrived. Remember the difference between clause and the phrase? So answer would be C, in the middle of the road. Why it is not a clause? It is not a clause because it does not contain a subject-verb combination. There is no subject-verb combination here. So it is a phrase. Which of the following is a complete sentence? Complete sentence, not a clause, mind you. When the teacher arrived under the large oak tree, the children were playing. After the rain stopped, which is the complete sentence? The children were playing is the complete sentence. The other are what? They are clauses. They are not complete sentence. They not convey the sense completely. So it is a complete thought with both subject and a verb. Then which of the following is a dependent clause? Clauses are independent. Clauses may be dependent. So we have talked about it in the previous video, the difference between dependent clause and independent clause, and we'll further discuss it. He ran fast in front of the house. Since he was late, the dog barked. Which of the following is dependent clause? Since he was late. The rest three are independent clauses. They convey their message completely. This is a dependent clause. This is dependent on some other clause. So that's why we call it dependent clause. It has a subject and a verb but does not express a complete thought. Which of the following is not a sentence? They are dancing beautifully. During the early morning hours, he reads a book every night. She goes to the gym regularly. The answer is B. because there is no verb in it during the early morning hours. It is a phrase because it doesn't have a subject-verb combination. It lacks a subject-verb combination. Which of the following is not a clause? Although she tried her best, as the sun was setting, with great enthusiasm, because he did not study. Answer is with great enthusiasm. And the reason is this is a prepositional phrase, not a clause. Which of the following is a noun phrase? Noun phrase. We'll discuss it further. Was laughing loudly in the dark room. The tall boy in the blue since the rain started. The tall boy in the blue is a noun clause because this phrase acts as a noun and has a noun. It has got a noun in it, and the whole clause is acting as a noun. So we call it a noun clause. Which of the following is not a phrase? Without saying a word, playing with fire, though she was nervous, never near the railway station. The answer is though she was nervous. Though she was nervous. And what is the reason? It is not a dependent clause with subject and verb. It is a dependent clause with subject and verb. It is a dependent clause, though she was nervous. That means it is dependent on some other clause, some main clause. This is a subordinate clause or a dependent clause. Then which of the following is a simple sentence? If it rains, we'll stay indoor. Though she cried, she forgave him. I like to read novels. While he waited, she cooked. Answer is C. I like to read novels. I like to read novels is a simple sentence. We'll discuss the type of sentences in the following slides where we have got simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences. But suffice to say here that I like to read novels is a simple sentence because it is a simple sentence with one independent clause. Which of the following is a clause, not a phrase? In the crowd, before you leave, without any delay on the way to school. Before you leave, because it has a subject and verb making it a clause. As I told you that we'll further try to increase the level by incorporating different types of classes. Now these classes, as I partially mentioned before, there are three types of clauses: adjective clause, adverbial clause, and noun clause. To begin with, let me remind you, I said it before, a clause is a group of words that contain subject and predicate. Don't forget that. In a clause, there is a subject. In a clause, there is a predicate. Then, if there are two clauses, one may be, I said. One may be dependent clause, the other may be independent clause. And independent clause sentence leaders that can stand alone. It expresses complete thought. In independent clause, it expresses complete thought and doesn't rely on another clause. Whereas a dependent clause Also, which it is called subordinate clause, cannot stand alone as a complete sentence because it is relying on another clause, on an independent clause. And the example of a dependent clause is since she left, I felt alone. Since she left. Now, in the example of an independent clause is the sun rises. Now, it is independent because it expresses a complete thought. Now we can call this main we can call it main clause also. We can call it a principal clause also. And there are three types of dependent clauses. There are three types of dependent clauses. Adjective clause. Adjective clause, it gives extra details about a noun. What is an adjective? Adjective qualifies a noun or a pronoun. Similarly, adjective clause is such a clause which provides additional information, extra information, gives some characteristics. So it gives extra details about a noun. The fluffy cat is mine. The fluffy cat is mine. So it is an adjective clause. Adverbial clause, it tells us more about when, where and how something happens. When it rains, we stay indoors. When it rains, we say whatever the role adverb plays. Similarly, this clause, adverbial clause, plays that role. It gives us extra information about adjective, about a verb, or about another adverb. So noun clause. Noun clause, it is a group of words acting as a noun in sentence. Such as I like where she lives. Where she lives. Now this is a noun clause. Where she lives is a noun clause. I hope by now you are clear between the independent clauses and dependent clauses, and the further types of dependent clauses, that is adjective clause, adverbial clause and noun clause. Now let's have some practice especially regarding the types of clauses. I know that she is honest. The underlined part is adjective clause, adverbial clause, noun clause or principal clause. The answer is it is a noun clause. And what is the reason? It acts as the object of the verb know. It acts as the object of the verb know. I know that she is honest. So this clause is acting is qualifying the verb know. That's why we say that it is a noun clause, that she is honest. It acts as the object of the verb know. The boy who won the race is my brother. The underlined part is what? Which clause? Adjective, noun, adverbial or independent? Answer is it is an adjective clause because it describes the boy. See it again, the boy who won the race. Next is she stayed home because she was sick. Which is this clause? Because she was sick. Which is this clause? Adjective, noun, adverbial or main clause? It is adverbial clause. And remember, we said it gives the reason. Why? That means why it is so. She stayed home. So because she was sick, she stayed home. It is an adverbial clause. Next is if you study hard, You will pass. Now, if you study hard. Which is this clause? Noun, adjective, adverbial or relative clause? Answer is it is adverbial clause. Same reason, it expresses the condition for passing. What he said made everyone laugh. What he said. What is this clause? What he said. Adverbial, noun, adjective or relative? Answer is noun. What he said. And the reason simple, it acts as the subject of the sentence. What he said. It is acting as a noun. The house where I was born has been renovated. The house where I was born. Where I was born. What type of clause is it? Adverbial, noun, adjective or principal? It is an adjective clause. And the reason is it describes the house. Although it was raining, we went for a walk. Although it was raining. What type of clause is it? Adjective, adverbial, noun or main clause? It is an adverbial clause. And what is the reason? It gives a contrast to the main action. Although it was raining. So it is an adverbial clause. I don't know why she left early. Noun clause, adjective clause, adverbial clause or main clause? It is a noun clause. It functions as the object of know. This is the place where we met. Where we met. By which clause? Noun, adverbial, adjective, conditional. Adjective clause. It describes the place. Because he apologized, she forgave him. Because he apologized. Which clause? Adjective clause, noun clause, adverbial clause or relative clause? Answer is it is adverbial clause, and reason is it gives reason for her forgiveness. Now we move to another segment in the same video where we'll have practice of MCQs relating to types of sentences. We partially mentioned there are 4 types. First one is simple. In simple sentence, there is one independent clause, and the example is the dog barks. Then second type is compound sentences. In this type of sentences, 2 independent clauses separated by a semicolon or a comma or a conjunction. An example is the pirate captain lost the treasure map, but he still found the buried treasure. There are 2 clauses. We now know what are clauses. Every clause has got a subject and a verb or a predicate. In this type, there are 2 clauses, both are independent and they are joined by some conjunction or a comma or a semicolon. Here they are joined by but. The third type of sentence is complex, and in this there are more than one clauses, obviously, one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. It can be, there may be 3 clauses and even more. So one independent clause is must and one or more dependent clauses. Example is given: because the soup was too cold, I warmed it in the microwave. I warmed it in the microwave. That is an independent clause. Because the soup was too cold. That is a dependent clause. Compound complex. This is the 4th type. In this, 2 independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. So, though Michael enjoys watching comedies, he rented the latest spy thriller and he enjoyed it very much. Last two clauses are independent clauses. The first one, that is, though Michael enjoys watching comedies, is a dependent clause. Now let's have practice. I completed my homework, put on my jacket, and left for the market. Which type of sentence is it? Simple, compound, complex, or compound complex? The answer is it is a simple sentence. Despite having multiple verbs, it has only one independent clause with no conjunction joining separately. One independent clause. I completed my homework, put on jacket, and left for home. It is one complete independent clause. She was late because she missed the bus. Which clause is it? Complex sentence. Why it is complex sentence? One independent clause and one dependent clause, because she missed the bus, that is a dependent clause. He tried hard but he couldn't pass the test. Simple, compound, complex, or compound complex? Answer, it is compound sentence, and the reason is two independent clauses joined by coordinating conjunction but. After she finished her work, she went out and I stayed home. Which type of sentence is it? It is a compound complex sentence. And the reason, two independent clauses, she went out and I stayed home. And one dependent clause, that is after she finished her work. Open the door. Which type of sentence is it? Very simple. It is a simple sentence. I like tea and she likes coffee. Which type of sentence is it? It is a compound sentence because two independent clauses are joined by and. Although it was raining, we went for a walk. Which type of sentence is it? Complex sentence. And why it is complex? One independent clause and one dependent clause. The baby cried for food. Simple sentence, very simple sentence. She loves to paint and she often paints landscapes that inspire her. Which type of sentence? Compound complex. Yes, two independent clauses and one dependent clause. When he arrived, we started meeting. Which type? Complex sentence. One independent clause and one dependent clause. Best of luck. If you like the video, please click on like. If you want anything additional or you have a question, you may write in the comments. And if you have not so far subscribed, please do it so that more videos, when they are on their way, they are coming, you get the notification.